Today on Username Nerd News, with Planet Comic Con 2016 coming up, I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to start collecting your comic books. So you're ready to start collecting comics, but you don't know where to start. Let me give you those tips. Before you go to the local comic book store, make sure you want to do some research and get an idea on what it is that you're looking for. The way this works is you either go through something that triggered your interest, either a certain character, a team, a movie, something nostalgic from your childhood, and make sure you got a little bit of information on that, because some characters from your childhood may not be the exact characters that they were then that they are today. When you get to your local comic book store, don't be nervous. If you've never been before, it's going to be a new experience. There's going to be a lot of overwhelming feelings there because you may not know what you're looking for, where you're supposed to go in the comic book stores, what the difference is between the books. But that's why they have employees and owners. Talk to them. They have years of experience in comic books, and they will be able to give you valuable information as into what you're looking for. Maybe you don't know exactly what you're looking for. They will be able to point you in the right direction, depending on what your genre is, maybe the certain character, maybe the storyline, maybe something you heard about. Talk to the employees. There are certain tips on when you should go to the comic book store. If you go on a Wednesday, that's when all the new comic books come out, so there will be the most people there. So you'll be able to see the popular things that are being picked up. You'll also be able to see the things that people don't like, as they'll talk about it and they won't be sold as much. Tuesday, it's probably going to be the slowest day. It'll give you a little bit more time to interact with the employees. When you go to the comic book shop for the first time, make sure you have enough time set aside. Don't think this is going to be a quick little 5-minute run in, pick up a book, and then leave. You want to set aside at least 30 minutes to be able to get some good questions asked and develop a rapport with the employees. So now there's 3 ways that you can go about picking out your first comic book. You can go off a selection that's provided to you by the employees or talking to your friends, or you can go and you can just browse through the comics and actually look at what grabs your attention. Maybe it's a cover, maybe it's something, a character, maybe it's some fancy way they did something. Whatever grabs your attention, keep an open mind. Maybe you went in there looking for a Marvel, but you saw an artist that did a cover that pulled your attention in DC. Maybe it's an independent book you've never heard of. So you went in there for a Marvel book, but you decided this DC comic cover really grabbed your attention. Don't be afraid to buy that. Buy your other Marvel book too. Buy any book that you see that you like. Just make sure when you're going in to buy your first books for your comic book collection that you're not buying for an investment. Buy something you want to enjoy. Buy something you want to test out. You want to be in something that grabs your attention, keeps you and keeps your mind creative. So after you've got your first comics, make sure to take them home, and when you read them, really pay attention to them. See if it likes it. If it grabs your attention and you really enjoy it, make sure to take a note of that. Write that down. Keep track of them. You can even go into cataloging your comics. Write the artist down that's on it, write the writer of the book, write the publisher, regardless if it's a Marvel, DC, independent, whatever the case might be. This will help you later on when you go into the comic book store and you decide, hey, I like this book by this artist, or I liked this writer. What else have they done? They'll be able to point you in the right direction. And then you can start looking at getting a subscription filled out. The subscriptions will be certain things that you can set up with your local comic book store that will be able to, every month, they will pull these books for you so you won't have to worry about running in there and then being sold out. I also suggest when you buy your first comic books to also pick up some bags and boards. This will also help you keep your comic books in a better condition for the future. Another option you can look at is trade paperbacks. These are books that collect the comic series instead of being individuals each week at the end of the series when it's published. This way you can actually just read them and don't have to go in every week. 1, it's a cheaper option. It collects all the books so that way you don't have to pay for them individually when they're brand new and coming out. 2, it saves you time of having to go in each week. You can buy it at the end of the story so that way you can read through in case you did miss a subscription in the week. It also can save on space. The downside is that you won't have the investment paid back into it. Trades don't usually sell back as well as individual comics can. So this was just an intro into how to start collecting your comic books. Now, you may have more questions, but this will be covered in the second part. Make sure to stay tuned next week on Username Nerd News, where Mad Mikey brings you how to collect comic books part 2.
Okay, stop. Don't go to the next YouTube video or channel or skip or don't do anything. Real quick, 5 seconds. We have 3 different channels. Please subscribe to them. Username Nerd News, Username Nerd Comics, Username Nerd Games. We have separated them out into 3 ones. Choose all of them or just one to subscribe to. You'd love it. I promise you, we'll give you great content. It'll show up in your feed. You'll love it. Just real quick click. It doesn't take but a few seconds. You'd be awesome. Thank you. I mean, you are really awesome. Thank you.